Welcome back to the Fastbreak-Podcast. We are on episode 54. We're here with Moses. Last episode we had Moses on here. I did a lot of shorter episodes because we were out of town and doing some stuff. So we're on episode 54. It's right after the... Oh shoot, I did this wrong. It's right after the draft.
Draft ended. Second round ended.
We have a lot of thoughts on how this went. And that's what this episode's going to be about. So this is going to be like two-part kind of thing. I don't know if I want to do it all in one episode. I don't know yet, but if it is, just forget it. But I have Mose on here, and on the second part that we just filmed is Scout. Scout was on it, which was interesting. So make sure to go check that out. So episode 54.
Yep.
We're ready. So we're just going to be talking about draft, what's next for the Kings, some trades that happened, and yeah. So, do you want to go ahead and get it started, Moses?
Yeah, I want to talk about what it means for the Kings to draft, for the Blazers to draft Donovan Clingan, and for the Kings to draft, what's his name? Devin Carter. So for the Kings to draft Devin Carter, at first we were, in the first round, we were a little skeptical, like, are they going to run, because he's a combo guard, so which means he can kind of play both point guard or shooting guard. But then we didn't really know, because he's basically a Davion Mitchell. So we were wondering if they were going to have to trade one of their guards, or maybe two. And today they traded Davion and Sasha for Jalen McDaniels. So I don't think I said that right.
Jalen McDaniels.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So, yeah, that's good, because Devin Carter is a 6'3" guard, and he's
6'8" wingspan.
Yeah, 6'8" wingspan, and he was one of the older players in yesterday's draft.
Yeah,
so
he's more NBA ready, kind of like how Keegan was.
He's just, more NBA ready.
I think that's what the Kings need right now. They don't really need someone to develop over time. We're kind of in like a sort of win now situation, so getting a player like Devin Carter is definitely good because he's NBA ready, I guess. And picking him at 13 I think was kind of a steal because I think Monty was expecting him to go at the top 10 spot, which I didn't think that would happen, but in a lot of mock drafts he was up there. So I don't know a whole lot about Devin Carter, but I did actually that's not true because I made a video and I said one of the players that the Kings might highly consider drafting is Devin Carter in my recent video.
Play the clip.
No, we're not going to do that. I'll just put a link in the description. But yeah, watch that if you want to learn a little bit more about Devin Carter. It's just probably like the first couple of minutes of that. But yeah, definitely go check that out. Yeah, I think Devin Carter will be great, especially after trading Davion. I think he's just like more of a longer version. He's a little taller. Has a longer wingspan. I mean, like Monty McNair said in his press interview, he said he checks all the boxes, which is really what the Kings need right now. I kind of wanted us to get Dalton Connect, but I think Devin Carter is a good pick because he's someone that checks all the boxes for the Kings, and he can score on offense, and he's a great defensive player. So it's exactly the kind of player we need too. And I think going back to that trade the Kings made, the Davion and Sasha one, I think that was made to free up some cap space so we could go out and get maybe another piece, like a solid role player. I think like the number one on the list is of course Brandon Ingram, but I think at number 2 and number 3 is a Kyle Kuzma or Cam Johnson, or even at 4 like a Bobby Portis, who's a free agent. That's he was on the championship team for the Bucks, and he was crucial for that. So I think those 4 are definitely players the Kings should consider going after. It's definitely going to take maybe a little chunk of the team out, but we're going to be getting someone good in return. So I think that trade was just kind of like one more little step to what Monty McNair has in the oven for this offseason. So do you have any other thoughts on the trade?
No, I think it was a good trade. I'm glad we got Jalen McDaniels. He plays the small forward position, so that could free up some space because Harrison Barnes, we love Harrison Barnes. He's a great player, but he kind of needs to go. He's been on the Kings for a long time, and he's a great player, but he's not the greatest player we could have at that position.
It's just he's old, and we don't need him right now. We need more of a younger player, which I don't think Jaden McDaniels fills that spot at all. He's not very good. I just think we have him because he's an expiring contract, so we don't have to pay him. So we'll just we're probably gonna package him in the next trade we have coming soon for someone else. But yeah, if we end up keeping him, we'll see how he is. I don't expect him to be very good, but he could possibly make an impact on the Kings. I'm not for sure, though, if he'll even be on this team when this next season comes around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving on from that trade, since it's just only a step in what Monty McNair, I think, has planned for this offseason, which is kind of exciting for your Kings fan because there's not always a lot of trades that go down. So
I would like to talk about Donovan Clingan falling from... He was projected to go 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And he fell all the way to 7th for the Trailblazers to take him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think the 4 through... I think the top 3 was kind of people knew, Zachary Boucher, Alex Sarr, Reed Shepherd. We knew they were going to go in the top 3. But seeing Stephon Castle go 4th and Ron Holland go 5th and Tijane Salon, however you say his name, going 6th. And then Donovan Clingan falling to 7th, I think is exactly what the Trailblazers hoped for. Because
they can get off DeAndre Ayton's huge contract of $123 million for 4 years. And I would be nervous if I was DeAndre Ayton because if you're one of the main players for a team and you see them drafting someone who's basically the younger version of you and the cheaper version, he's probably thinking that he's probably going to get traded.
Oh, yeah. And I think DeAndre Ayton needs that. He needs to go to a contender. I think him being with the Blazers isn't exactly what the Blazers need right now or what he wants right now because I don't think he wants to be on a team that's not making the playoffs. He definitely needs to be on a team that's contributing in some way. But yeah, drafting Donovan Clingan could be perfect for them. Another young player that they could the Trailblazers can slowly develop. And I think it's interesting because you don't really know what they're gonna do with DeAndre Ayton or Robert Williams III, which was interesting because those are 2 great players, of course, and you're curious to see where they end up. But yeah, it's just interesting because now they have 3 solid big men, which you don't really know what they're gonna do with. So it's interesting.
So there's a possibility that he can get traded, and I think there's one team who kind of needs a center because they've kind of been relying on. I'm thinking of the Golden State Warriors because they've kind of been relying on where is it? I had a screenshot. The Golden State Warriors, they've kind of been relying on Draymond Green, who's really a power forward and not a center, to play that center position. So I think that trading DeAndre Ayton and a 2026 second for Gary Payton II and a 2025 first would be a good trade for both teams because we get the good young player in Gary Payton II. We can bring him back because he was on.
What position is he?
He's a shooting guard.
Shooting guard. Yeah, you see that trade's interesting because one, we're getting rid of DeAndre Ayton, which is nice, unloading that big contract. But I just don't think we don't need another guard, you know, because the Blazers are still trying to fix that problem with all their guards, and just adding another one I think is kind of a hassle for them because then they have to kind of package players they don't really want to do. So I like that trade, but the realisticness of it is not very high. So I think what's going to end up, which I like DeAndre Ayton on the Warriors or even Robert Williams III, because I actually like Robert Williams III more because he's more defensive minded and they don't really need another offensive player. So I think Robert Williams III will be good on the Warriors, especially if the Warriors are looking to go after Paul George, which I think that would be awesome if they get like a 3-team trade kind of thing where the Blazers get some picks, Robert Williams, and Robert Williams goes to like the Clippers or something, and then Paul George goes to the Warriors. So something like that could happen, which would be interesting. But honestly, what teams want, what teams are going to really want in this offseason is their own picks back. Because with the new CBA, they're not going to be able to make super teams by getting a whole bunch of star players together, which I think everyone's like, the Warriors are going to run it back. You're going to get Paul George, it's going to be blah, blah, blah. And I think that's just not going to happen because just getting a whole bunch of superstars together doesn't work anymore. So I think it really just, you really just have to, you win championships by drafting. You can't just trade and bring a whole bunch of random superstars together and hope it becomes a championship team. It doesn't work that way. So I think the Blazers getting their picks back is what they want. Getting young players and their picks back, and then they'll ship DeAndre in, and they'll ship Robert Williams III for any of those. So I think that's for sure what at least the Blazers will be looking for. But there's a lot of teams on different, like the Blazers and the Kings are in two totally different like scenarios right now, because the Kings are in kind of like starting to get into a win now mode, which they kind of are in right now, like I said earlier, and they're trying to kind of add another, not like superstar, but another star that could go alongside Sabonis and De'Aaron, and which adds, I think Robert Williams III would be a solid asset for the Kings. I don't know if the Kings have a Portland pick. I think they already traded it actually to the Suns or the Wizards or something, or the Raptors actually. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's plenty of possibilities for the Blazers because they have two solid big men that any team could want, honestly.
And what pick? No, not what pick. What seed do you have to be to avoid the play-in tournament?
It's 1 through 10.
Is the playoffs, not
Playoffs and play-in.
1 through 10. So is it like 7 through 10 is play-in?
No, 6. Yeah, 7 through 10. 7 through 10.
Okay, so I think the Kings with the right trades can make maybe like the 7th or 8th seed, and the Blazers.
The Kings?
Yes, they can either barely avoid the play-in or get at the very top of the play-in.
The 7th and 8th seed is the play-in.
7th and 8th seed, I know. So either like the very top of the play-in.
For the Kings?
Yes, with the right trades and the right movement this offseason and during normal season. Of course, the playoffs and the play-in are really far off, but I feel like they can do good.
Yeah, I think that's a huge drop-off, honestly, because the Kings are supposed to be. They've been good. They've made the playoffs every year except for last year. I think they're going to take a huge jump because Monty McNair is going to be making a big trade this offseason. He's cooking up something, and I think they should honestly jump up to the 6th, 5th, 4th seed. So I think 7th and 8th seed is kind of like a failure for them, honestly, because they're kind of just, if anything but playoffs is a failure for the season.
Okay.
So that's interesting. But what would you say for the Blazers?
Blazers, if they're lucky and if Donovan Clean can develop good and become like a good, like their main big and perform well, I think that they can maybe make the play-in this year. Like maybe the 9th or 10th seed.
Yeah. With rebuilds, I think the Blazers, they're going to be bad this season, especially if they trade DeAndre Ayton and Robert Williams III or either or. They're losing a key asset, and they lost Malcolm Brogdon already. So young players aren't just going to come out the bat and be spectacular. I mean, it's not like we're talking about Victor Wembanyama. It's not the best draft class. So Donovan Clean is going to be good over time. I don't think he's going to come out the bat being this amazing player, which he totally could, but I don't know if that's realistic for them. But they could totally make the play-in. But it's just hard out here in the West. There's so many good teams, so many good players. But I feel like if the Blazers were in the East, they probably would have made the play-in. They might barely make the play-in, but I see the Blazers as more of a 11th, 12th, 13, and those kind of three. But them making 10th is definitely a possibility. Yeah. So, what is there anything else that you wanted to point out in the draft? Oh, I have something. I think Kyle Filipowski going 32nd is insane because he was projected to go like 15th or 16th.
Yeah.
Which ended up being Jared McCain and Kiel Ware. Which I'm interested to see because they usually have like reports and stuff, what GMs or coaches say about certain players, why they didn't get drafted high or got drafted too high. Like Kyle Filipowski, he got drafted very low, which is very interesting.
And also,
I don't really know why.
I think Justin Edwards went undrafted.
Yeah, Justin Edwards did go undrafted. Justin Edwards wasn't the best. He was just, I mean, he's not really a huge scorer. He just plays some defense. And they already had Reed Shepard and Robert Dillingham and some other Kentucky players, so he kind of got pushed to the side.
I don't really know anything about Justin Edwards besides the fact that he got added to 2K in the next packs.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how someone who goes undrafted is in 2K. That's kind of weird.
That's kind of weird.
But, yeah, and I also think Dalton Connect at 17 for the Lakers is huge for them because he was supposed to go top 10. He ended up not. And Zach Edey goes 9, which is insane too. See how that pans out. So the draft was really like a lot of different stuff happened, and it was interesting. Yeah. So what do you think? I think we can both agree if Donovan Clingan at 7 is the steal of the draft.
Yes, I think.
What do you think is like? What are you gonna say?
Oh no.
Okay.
I think the second biggest steal of the draft is go down. I did something. Go down. Oh, Kyle Filipowski going to the Jazz at number 32. We already talked about him, how he went really low. Like he's a good player. I don't know a lot about him again. I didn't know a lot about this draft class. But I know that he was projected to go 15, as Miles said. And I feel like the Jazz got a steal for dropping him almost double where he was supposed to go.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with that. What do you think is like probably the worst pick you think was made? I think Zach Edey, because he can't really shoot the best, and he just really rebounds and goes in the paint, and he's gonna face trouble like against Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, all those big guys, and I'm just interested to see how that pans out. But I think picking him at 9 is very high when there's some more promising players.
Yeah, I also think that was one of the worst picks. Not because Zach Edey's gonna do great. He's gonna do good. I just think 9 is a little too high because the main reason why he's good is because he's big. He's able to like get in the paint and score. But when you're going against guys who are like the same size as him, maybe a little bigger, who've been in the league for like 5-6 years, he's not gonna stand a chance in the paint. And I feel like he got picked way too high. Maybe like the 16th or like 15th or something would have been like more appropriate.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's just something we don't know about it. I mean,
maybe.
Yeah, we
didn't
never
know.
We
don't know a lot about this draft.
Well, I think it's just like there's not you can't know everything, you know. You can't know everything that goes on, so.
Yeah.
That's part of the draft. It's interesting, but yeah, I think we covered all the big stuff in the draft. So do you think that's good? Or do you have something else?
We didn't really talk about Bronny, but I don't really think there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I know you talked with him about Scout, which
Yeah.
won't make a lot of sense because this is playing before Scouts.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I feel like all the people were saying that, he's not just getting drafted. Stephen A. Smith and all those people who were like there during the draft, the second round, saying he's not just getting drafted because he's LeBron's son. He's actually a good player. But I think that he is a good player, I feel like he'd be an even better player with one more year of college basketball to kind of like get his momentum back from that cardiac arrest. Because ever since then, he's averaged like 5 points a game. Not that great.
Well, it's just I just think he's not. He was never he was never going to be a super good player. His potential wasn't to be that good. Like even in high school, like he was good in high school, but like it's high school. It's like not real competition, honestly. And I kind of disagree because he wasn't going to be able to go in the NBA because LeBron is either going to retire this year or next year because LeBron wasn't going to be able to wait another year to play for his son. He wanted to get it out of the way. But I kind of agree that he might have been maybe a little more ready and better for the NBA. But for him, honestly, it's not really about being ready for the NBA. It's him settling in and playing with his dad. I think that's the majority of it. But
here's what I think. Do you think... No, that's not what I think. It's a question. Do you think that the Lakers or any other team would still consider him a draft prospect, even if he got better? Like, if he spent one more year in college and LeBron retired, even if he got better and started averaging something like 15 points a game or something, do you think he'd be considered as a serious draft prospect?
yeah, of course. If he's averaging 15 points a game and like getting rebounds and dishing the ball and playing good defense, of course he's going to get drafted. It's not about what if he did this or did that. Because if he turns into a good player the next year, of course he's getting drafted. It's that right now he's not good. So that's what you gotta. So definitely, I definitely think people would consider him. He would have won in the first round. He was averaging 15 efficiently.
I think 15 was a bad example, but like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, I think that's it. So thank you guys for watching the part 1 of this. I don't know if I'm gonna do part 2 after this. Right after this, or I'm gonna release it later. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this. See you guys in part 2. Peace.
Wait. I want to see if this works. Like, what if I just like